Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey that literally starts right on your everyday kitchen cutting board, but ends all the way down at the microscopic cellular level inside your own body. We're completely pulling back the curtain on the actual molecular blueprint of visceral fat loss. For the longest time, the advice around this topic has just been incredibly surface level. It's always eat less, move more, right? But honestly, that completely ignores the complex biological machinery running right beneath the surface. So get ready, because what we're going to cover today is fundamentally going to change how you view the food you consume. We are looking way past the calories and the macros. Instead, we're focusing entirely on the biochemical instructions we're handing our bodies every single time we eat. Now, for decades, society has conditioned us to just obsess over the mirror. We've been told to, pinch an inch, worry about how our clothes fit, and basically view belly fat purely as a cosmetic problem you've got to solve for swimsuit season. But is it really just an aesthetic issue? Well, to find out the truth, we need to immediately shift our focus away from the mirror and step firmly into the reality of the scientific lab. When researchers look at this specific type of tissue under a microscope, guys, they don't see a cosmetic annoyance. Not at all. They see a highly active, incredibly potent biological structure that dictates entirely how your metabolism functions. So the answer to whether this is just about looks, well, it completely rewrites the rules of how we actually tackle it. Because here is the reality. Visceral adipose tissue is a metabolically active endocrine organ. I really want to let the gravity of that science sink in for a second. This tissue, what we so casually brush off as just a spare tire, is absolutely not just passively sitting there storing your extra calories like some biological savings account. It is incredibly complex. It's actually actively pumping out chemical signals into your bloodstream. It literally functions exactly like a rogue organ inside of you. And the signals it sends out are largely inflammatory, constantly telling your body to hold on to energy, disrupting your insulin sensitivity, and just altering your whole metabolic baseline. It's an active participant in your biology, communicating with the rest of your body 24/7. So the crucial point is, because it operates as an active organ, we absolutely cannot rely on those old mentalities to eliminate it. Starvation diets or, endless crunches, they just won't shut off an endocrine organ. To truly address this, we must alter its cellular signaling. We have to zoom all the way down to the microscopic level and fundamentally change the messages being sent across your body's lipid pathways. Basically, we have to introduce specific biochemical compounds that intercept those inflammatory signals, effectively telling these cells to stop hoarding energy and start releasing it. It's a literal reprogramming job. We are trying to flip the biological switches on the outside of these visceral fat cells so they naturally release the stored lipids they've been so aggressively holding onto. And this requires a total paradigm shift. Popular diet culture has sold us this really persistent myth that you can just consume thermogenic spices, like chugging a gallon of cayenne pepper water every morning, to magically burn away the fat from the inside out. But look at the scientific reality here. It is grounded in molecular biology. It's not about artificially heating up your body or sweating it out with spicy fads. It is entirely about providing the exact chemical formulas needed to rewrite the signals at the cellular level. Think of it kind of like a lock and a key. Cayenne pepper might make you sweat, sure, but it doesn't possess the specific biochemical keys to unlock the lipid pathways of visceral adipose tissue. True fat loss at this level is purely a matter of cellular communication. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we actually achieve that specific cellular shift. We need very specific elements. I want you to think of this not as some trendy morning juice recipe you'd find scrolling social media, but as a precise scientific formulation. Every single botanical component is selected for how its specific molecules interact synergistically. It's the exact ratio, the precise balance of these four compounds that really matters. The flavonoids in the grapefruit and lemon interact directly with the antioxidants in the blueberries, while the specific hydration profile of the cucumber acts as the delivery mechanism. When combined in these exact percentages, they create a totally unique biochemical compound. It's this combined molecular profile, not just the individual ingredients by themselves, that acts as the key to unlock those highly resistant lipid pathways in the visceral tissue. Let's move to this and see how this builds, because when we break it down into measurable inputs, execution is absolutely everything. Imagine taking a really sharp knife and slicing in slow motion through a vibrant, incredibly juicy ruby red grapefruit, seeing those distinct droplets of juice suspended in the air. You need exactly half of that ruby red grapefruit. Next, precisely 1 cup of blueberries, exactly half a lemon, and exactly 1 cucumber. Now, while that sounds incredibly fresh and delicious, and it is, make no mistake, these measurements are strict protocols. If you alter the amounts, well, you alter the chemical equation and you lose that synergy. To trigger the correct molecular response in your endocrine system, you really have to treat your kitchen exactly like a chemistry lab, adhering to these exact measurable inputs. So that execution comes with a few strict rules. Remember, we are targeting cellular signaling, which means exact measurements are completely non-negotiable. But what is deliberately excluded here is honestly just as important as what's included. Despite every current health trend right now telling you to throw a giant chunk of ginger into absolutely every single drink you make, absolutely no ginger is needed or wanted here. It's a great root, sure, but it simply does not fit the specific molecular blueprint we're constructing today. Actually, adding it wouldn't supercharge the recipe. It would introduce competing compounds that could disrupt the very specific lipid-targeting signals we are actively trying to send. So stick to the blueprint and just leave the ginger in the fridge. Ultimately, the secret lies in molecular biology, not thermogenic spices. It really is that profound of a shift. We are entirely moving our mindset from the kitchen straight to the chemistry lab. We aren't just eating anymore, guys. We are programming our biology. So the next time you look at the foods you consume, don't ask yourself if they'll magically heat up your core temperature and quote-unquote burn fat. Instead, ask yourself this: how is this food communicating with my cells right now? What specific instructions are these compounds giving my metabolism? Are you sending the right molecular messages to alter your own cellular lipid pathways? It's a fascinating question, right? And it's one that puts the power of real biological change directly back into your hands.